Greetings, folks. This is vk3sl. Sorry about the slow start today. We had an unexpected occurrence. It's thrown me off keel a bit, actually. So it'll take a little while to get things going again. We had a transmitter fault. I thought we were out of business for the medium term. And what had happened is a possum had got down behind the transmitter and pulled out a lead, which was a bit unexpected. So anyhow, we plugged it back in and it seems to be working. I'm pleased about that. There we go. Frank, how are you going?
I'm going well, thank you.
Yeah.
How did the possum get in?
Oh, there's possums in the roof in the garage.
Oh, I see.
And
Lucky you didn't do more damage.
well, they're all over the place, and I'm in denial. We'll have to get rid of. We'll have to.
But I think our possums have come to you. We're light on for possums this year.
Oh, please take a few.
They're not being missed at all.
Yeah, there's a family of them inside the ceiling, and there's a hole in the roof, and they jumped down behind the transmitter, and I think they've been doing it for a long time, but they'd actually knocked out one of the leads, and I couldn't work out what was going on. I thought the oscillator had gone put, but not the case. It was a floating lead. So yeah, back in.
Good outcome anyway.
Yeah. So I just need to. So I have to do a couple of quick things before we get started. But I thought I'll play a recording of Budapest string quartet, and they're playing Schubert's Rosamund Quartet.
Oh, you know it's his birthday.
Ah, I didn't know that. There we go.
Today.
Ah, well, there we go. That's serendipitous.
Oh, yeah.
Good one. All right. Well, we'll have to hear the music of Schubert. We'll do this for about 10, and then I'll be on board. Can't go very late tonight, and tonight's missions are a little bit in doubt. Not sure, because we're going out tonight, but I really do want to get back in good time. So it may have to be about 11:30, but that's just a general sort of look ahead. But
Whatever.
yay. All right, then, Frank, look, I look forward to catching up with you in about 10, 15, thereabouts.
Speak soon.
Excellent. No
Thanks,
worries.
Steve.
Okay, cheers for now.
Cheers for now.
Okay, let's have some Budapest String Quartet playing Schubert's Rosamund in 1948, care of the Mancha 3M Tape Archiving Project. Well, folks, I will have to draw the line there because it does go on for a bit longer, and it's not quiet music like that doesn't necessarily work that well on a noisy band without much power. So it's probably not so good for the listener, but it does sound marvellous in here. It's a recording of Schubert's Rosamond Quartet. You heard the first couple of movements, including the glorious slow movement, which is it was beautifully played.
That sounded lovely.
Yeah, just a bit noisy, and soft music like that does. Chamber music is not the best thing to play on these hairs, but that's okay. Yeah. So I'm right to go now. Sorted a few things out. We're now in business, and I should be. I was just confirmed with Kate. We're going out to a party tonight, but the idea is to get back in good time. Now, I think it's probably best to sort of look towards 11:30, but I won't make it I'll probably just do an hour tonight, but it's something I really want to play this evening, and it's a record I picked up at a local shop recently. It's a Westminster Hi-Fi LP from the 50s or early 60s, probably from the 50s, but it's a recording of two Bach cantatas with Herman Scherren. And these are quite sort of celebrated first sort of major survey of the cantatas at that time. I probably can provide more detail at the time. Sherman was born in the 1890s and did a lot in the 30s and 40s, and made quite a few recordings of Bach cantatas in the 50s. And I think this is from that ilk. With the Vienna Orchestra. Now, I haven't tested this at all. It's a recent find. The record's pretty grotty, actually. I'll give it a clean before we play it and see if... see what it's all about. So really keen to sample that. So we'll make it a special feature tonight, but probably closer. Look, if I get back before then, we'll start earlier, but I'd anticipate. I'd definitely hang around for the callback, I think, Frank, and see how that goes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
I can monitor both anyway.
Yeah, sure. Look, it's probably going to be closer to 11:30 by the time I get home, and I'll just like to play that. That'd be the main thing. But it's all back to business. It's so crazy busy, and suddenly life sort of goes back to what it was. But I'm not going to complain about that. I'm lucky. I've got a very a charmed existence, really. I've got a good job, I've got good students, and I'm not too bureaucratically immersed. I'm able to be at arm's length from some of the systemic things that can be quite draining.
Good.
So yeah, with all of that, I'm pretty lucky, really. Yeah. So how's your week been, Frank?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I had a visit from a friend who showed me some AI stuff.
Oh, now thank you for that link too. I had a listen, or I had a look. I couldn't get the audio downloads working.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I read the sort of preamble and all of that, but I'll have another go. I did have one go without success, but it may have been the device I was using or something. But tell me more about what happened this week.
Well, it was mainly just teaching me how to use some of the various engines.
Yes.
Which is I needed to know, and I've got one on my phone that I can use. Gemini. I can use that very easily and well, and
sure.
It's quite fascinating having conversations, running conversations.
Yeah, yeah. So is Gemini a Google product?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Okay. That's good. I've been playing around with DeepSeek this week.
I can't find it yet.
Yeah, there's an app.
I know all about DeepSeek.
Yeah, it's absolutely fascinating how this has come about, the whole thing. And I'm sort of following it with interest. Simply, I mean, who knows what the real backstory is, but on the surface, it seems like there's been some groundbreaking developments.
Oh, it seems. You can believe the hype.
Yeah, and it works really well. It works just as well as ChatGPT. I asked it some sort of difficult questions. And
I had some questions about Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, we won't answer those.
It did initially start to.
Yes, apparently so, because it was trained up on ChatGPT,
How it works.
So it was trained up on other models, but it's just sort of an access format.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more.
What format? Have you got it on iOS or?
Yeah, I do. I just got the iOS app. Just get an app.
DeepSeek, all one word, is
it? DeepSeek as a word, and just download the app and ask it questions. It's interesting. Yeah, it's worth it. It's interesting because what it does, it goes through the thought processes. It's got one extra stage of, I won't say it's complexity, but a different stage of realization, whereby you ask a question and it'll go through about 4 or 5 different answers with a sort of deductive reasoning and present different arguments, and then it synthesizes them and comes up with your argument. And this happens very, very quickly. It's almost impossible to read it, but it actually provides in real time its analysis. So you see,
that would be fascinating if you could record all of that.
Yeah, if you could. I mean, actually, I think it's actually there there's like a trail. So It gives you sort of options, and in a way, it's a lot more transparent. And
that's the beauty of it.
yeah, and I've been going to a lot of seminars this week for work, and AI is the big thing for schools. I mean, that's going to totally change education.
Yes, I know.
It's not going. It'll be personalised learning programs soon for everyone, and it'll brain map you and work out what you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, 1984, but yeah, but at the same time, it is interesting to sort of see the frontier developments and as a teaching tool as well, and. And I gave some. There's a number of sort of portals or approaches that educators can use, and it's you could use it to create lesson plans and all manner of things. It's amazing, and it's just like I asked some questions about, for instance, teaching cello as I teach to adults, which can be very very challenging.
I can imagine.
Psychologically, it can be challenging because people have a fear of making mistakes and they stultify, and there's young children.
All the inhibitions start kicking in.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. As soon as you become a teenager, it's sort of everyone starts to become self-conscious, and that is a very limiting factor. And anyhow, so I asked it those sort of questions, and it really addressed that issue quite specifically. And I thought that was just so interesting to hear that it's sort of dealing with the interpersonal, philosophical side of it all as well. And I thought that was amazing, actually. And it presented like a dossier of ideas, and that was just on one single prompt. It's totally remarkable. So, but urge people to have a go at DeepSeek. It's really that in itself is a really interesting alternative to ChatGPT. So yeah,
I'll certainly do. I'll download it tonight.
Yeah, it's good. And
Tomorrow.
I'll investigate those links you sent me a bit further. I did spend a little time, but it may have been just the device I was using. So
I send you the link to the actual presentation.
Yeah, I thought you did, but I don't think I could open it. But you said there was a whole lot of associated paperwork and information, though. I was able to read that about the lecture.
Yeah.
And so I'll go back and have another look, Frank. But thank you.
I haven't had a decent go at it myself.
Yeah.
Leighton's offered to help me if I need help, so
Okay.
maybe he's got further with it than I have.
Sure. All right. Well, we'll stand by with that one. It's interesting. But yeah. All right. Well, 20s hit. It's early 30s, I think. It's Victor Arden and Phil Oman, two pianists who sort of made a lot of popular recordings together, and they had their own orchestra for a while. It's this sort of glammed up, syncopated music from that time, but it's positive and it's always a good listen. So I think we're engaged. I just have to make sure that I've got everything queued up and ready. I think we're right to go. This is Music in My Fingers.
Starting in my fingers, going to my head. Rhythm in my elbows, that's my makeup. I was born that way. Rhythm in my elbows, and I don't mean maybe. I get warm at the beat of those drums. I'm in form when I'm snapping my thumbs. I'm not normal when anyone hums. Hi-di-di-dum-dum-dum. Music in my fingers seems to take up every melody. Music in my fingers makes a fool of me.
Victor Arden and Phil Oman and the band there. Good sprightly rendition. I don't know who was singing on that, but I was just looking them up, and they were collaborative pianists, pit pianists, and in many of George Gershwin's musicals back in the day, and made lots of piano rolls, and was signed to Victor Records. That was a Victor record we just heard. And they developed a large studio orchestra specialising in Broadway show songs, which became popular. I think that's sort of that ilk, what we've just heard. So, yeah, it's good to hear them play. I think they lived into the 50s, thereabouts. There's not much information beyond, 1954, Phil Oman. I don't know what happened to Victor Arden. But anyhow, to piano, it was quite a common thing, I think, to sort of have piano duettists playing things. Of course, in classical music, it was often the case that you had a piano part, and then you had many concertos were practiced with a pianist playing the solo and another pianist, a second piano, playing the orchestral part. Well, I heard that many times at uni. It was a common occurrence to hear major piano concertos played with two pianos. It was something that was done regularly. Yeah. Anyhow, the other side.
Any recordings of that?
I don't know. It was sort of done more as an exercise, I think.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, without the gramophone record and the wireless and so on, it was probably very hard to hear a lot of symphonic repertoire. And you do see quite a lot of piano transcriptions. Got a fair bit of old music in the music room at home, and there are a number of reductions, piano reductions of symphonies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of people's access to the great works, was their piano reductions.
Okay.
And I think the composers themselves often did it too. I think they actually supplied their own realizations of the music. I think it was quite a common thing in the 19th century, particularly as music became more democratized and stuff.
I think it'd be best to have the composer do one.
Yes.
He or she would best know how to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they understand the voicings they want and so on. I know there's actually recordings out there of Mahler playing their piano rolls, reductions of his symphonies, sections of his symphonies.
Yeah.
So, that was and recordings of Debussy too. He only really mainly wrote piano music anyhow, but yeah, it's an interesting one. I've got a piano roll lined up shortly anyhow, but just notice the other side of this.
Great.
Yeah, well, I'll just check it out in a minute. The other side of the record we just heard, before it disappears on the shelf, is a different band on side B. Yeah, this record would be from about 1930. It's Waring's Pennsylvanians. You often hear them.
Fred Waring.
Yeah, Fred Waring, and because he kept going right into the 50s. But in the 20s, he was one of the big league dance band leaders. And we'll hear this one. It's called Dancing in the Dark. So give this one a whirl. And new access to shelves. So I'm enjoying finding records I haven't listened to for a long time.
That's lovely.
go. Fred Waring and his Pennsylvanians and Dancing in the Dark from about 1930. Yeah, another 78 from this shelf is, I think it's probably one of the very first recordings of My Baby Just Cares for Me, which was a huge hit for Nina Simone and others later on.
Was.
Yeah, and sort of a song I associate really with a later time, but yeah, another recording of a Pennsylvania band. It's called the Pennsylvanians. It's evidently a pseudonym for possibly the same musicians we just heard before, who knows. But yeah, it's a great tune, but it's fascinating to sort of hear the genesis of some of these tunes. So I thought it might be fun to play this one. Hasn't had an airing for a very long time, so I might be able to see if I can dial up the famous Nina recording of it afterwards. So yeah, I'll do that while we're having a listen. So here we go, Pennsylvania music and My Baby Just Cares for Me.
My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for furs and laces. My baby don't care for high-tone places. My baby don't care for rings or other expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows it. My baby just cares for me.
There we go, the Hotel Pennsylvania music there from about 1930, and possibly one of the first recordings of My Baby Just Cares for Me. I'm not sure if it actually is, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, good to hear. Yeah, it's nice to have a couple of shelves that I haven't seen for a while sort of make their appearance. I've actually made a few other changes too, because now I've got access to the pianola, and the end of the room there's a number of receivers sort of set into the wall, which I used to use a lot, but I've now put in an aerial switching unit and a speaker switching unit, and I can sort of shift between the different receivers and do some listens. And
You're really getting organised.
Oh yeah, just trying to use the junk around here. Otherwise, it's just, if it doesn't get used, there's no point in having it. So yeah, got the AR88 going.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, it's such a lovely set to use.
I used to delight in using my AR88.
Yeah, I bet you did. It's got a weighted dial and it just spins like a cat.
It's the nicest dial I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it's it. And it has no backlash, this one, so it just goes purrs along and finds a random station. But it's, it took a while to get it going, actually, because I had a few issues.
Okay,
yeah.
you've done well.
Well, I had to pull it all out, and the thing weighs about 50 kilograms, so that was an evening job.
Was it the D model or the LF model?
It's the LF model.
That's the one I had.
Yeah, so you can't...
Which is, I think, better because it gives you access at very, very high sensitivity and good, capability right down into the very low frequency.
Yes, right down to about 100 kilohertz.
It works beautifully even down there.
Yeah, that's it. Well, unfortunately, there's not much happening down there anymore. All the beacons have gone. There's a few of them. But
there are other little bits and pieces that you can hear.
Yeah, I need to be alert to that and just listen with more discrimination, I think. But
Sure,
it is lovely to have that extra range. And, of course, you don't get the broadcast band, but there are other sets. And the other one's the HRO, which I haven't used for a long time.
That's another great. Gee, you've done well there.
That's a beautiful set. That was
American, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it.
Wasn't the AR7 modelled on the HRO?
It was. In fact, there was a lawsuit, and I think Mr. Love was taken to Kingsley Love, and I think it was sort of the end of him, really. I think he came undone over that.
Terrible.
I think it's a really sad story in the end. After the Australians profited very much from it. Thank you very much.
Does the HRO have coil boxes?
Yes, it does. I've got a set of...
Same thing.
Yeah, it does. Very similar. They're not interchangeable. And the profile of the HRO, it's a much smaller set, and it's more. It has got a separate power supply, but it is smaller than the AR7. I can't compare. I know Dave's got an AR7, but
I've never seen an AR7.
Yeah, but it's very similar geometry. It's got the same dial, one huge dial on the front. It's the most beautiful dial to use. It's just you've got so much specificity in it. It's a reduction drive with just. Really, it's a lovely, lovely set to use. Unfortunately, I haven't got an 80-meter coil box. I'd love to find one. I've got one for 40, and I've got about. This must have been used for LF because there's about 4 coil boxes for the very low frequencies as well.
Oh, really?
So it's also set up. It's ideal for that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then one for 40, and I think there's a couple of shortwave coil boxes, but nothing. I haven't got one for 80, which I'd really like. But
they must be around somewhere.
Yeah, what other sets are in there? I haven't got this one going yet, but it used to go, but I have to check the aerial connection. It's got a very unusual aerial plug, and that's the old Murphy D40. It's a turret set. They use them on aircraft carriers and ships.
You used to own a Murphy.
You used to have it. Did you a B40?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. So you know the whole set.
I do.
Yeah.
I do indeed. That was after my AR8. I graduated to the Murphy.
Did you really? Well, I think from a tactile point of view, it's very easy. It's good geometry with all of the knobs and things like that. And that big turret thing. It's like it's so agricultural.
The
big
clunk.
clunk. Yes. This last time I used it, this one worked really well, and I changed all the capacities in the audio stage a while back, and it worked fine. It has got great sensitivity, and it could be fine tuned a lot, and I'm sure with someone with more determination. But for the sake of the historic corner, it's nice to have. Weighs about 50 kilograms. Heavy as lead.
I know.
And it's sort of elevated on a shelf. But that's a part of the new switching arrangement, as is the Collins R90, R390, which is just the most amazing set. That was a recent gift, actually.
Oh, lovely.
And that's lovely too. So there's a handful of vintage receivers which have sort of been offline for a while, so I'm just going to use one each night and do a little bit of listening to Shortwave Australia and various things.
Very nice. Very nice.
So there we go. That's another development. Yay.
So that's the other good thing about the AR88, lovely wide bandwidth if you want it.
Yeah, it's marvellous, absolutely marvellous. It's just beautiful. It's got the sound is just incredible. It sounds so good. Into a 2-ohm speaker, and I've got this XABC speaker, which it just has this beautiful, warm, voluptuous sound. Marvellous.
Totally.
Yeah, it's good. All right. Well, we just heard probably the first recording of My Baby Just Gets Me, but I've just lined up the famous Nina Simone one, which I just love this performance. I love its walking bass line, and she's just does wonders with the piece. She reinvents it completely. And so we have to play this. So, yeah, from a remastered version, it seems, from 1958. And, yeah, Nina Simone.
My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for cars and races. My baby don't care for high-tone places. Liz Taylor is not a style, and even Lana Turner's smile, something he can't see. My baby don't care who knows. My baby just cares for me. For shows, and he don't even care for clothes. He cares for me. My baby don't care for cars and races. Baby don't care for. He don't care for high-tone places. Liz Taylor is not his style, and even Liberace smile, something he can't see is something he can't see. I wonder what's wrong with baby. My baby just cares for. My baby just cares for. My baby just cares for me.
The newest of all, Nina Simone there, and yeah, big hit, 1958. Love it, love the walking bass. I love her, just freedom. She just soars. It's wonderful. Yeah, it is. It's good. All right. Well, I've got the pianola at the other end of the room.
Oh, great. Excellent.
And I reckon you'll recognise the song. In fact, I'll just open up the mic channels in a minute. I won't announce it. I think you'll recognise it straight away.
Right.
I know it's a song quite dear to your heart. In fact, I will, after we've played it, I'll dial up the original. But hoping all systems work. Yeah, I did test it before, but bear with me. There'll be a little dead air as I just walk across to the other side of the room.
vk3sl in contact with vk3sl. Crossband duplex 2 meters to 160 meters. And also 3SL is broadcasting on 70 centimeters.
Thanks, Frank. That's great. All right. I'm presuming I'm getting through. Hello. Yep. Right, I'll walk down to the other end here. And we climb onto the piano stool. And here we go. Okay, there we go.
Well pedalled.
Thank you.
Yes, I love that. As you know, I love that song.
It's a beautiful song.
It just picks up on the pathos of the situation.
Oh, it does
Superb.
ever. It does. And the lyrics are all on the roll. Interestingly, that is a duet roll. It's a new one. It's a reissue. And I mean, I say new, it's probably from the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
And so it's in really nice condition and it played quite well. But it has all of the, I notice it has extra holes on each side, a lot of extra holes to do with the expression. So,
wow.
Yeah, so there's a whole sort of array of different sort of,
Your player piano would have to be able to recognise that.
You'd have to have a duet piano to be able to play it. So this is optimized for that higher end piano, so it seems. So interesting.
That's interesting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So I didn't realise that, but I don't think I have many of that type of roll. But yes, it's got a lot of extra perforations which are not even active on the bar, the suction bar on the instrument that I have.
Yes.
But
that sounded excellent. Though.
Yeah.
Quite faultless. It was.
No, it seemed to work reasonably well. So I'm
Very
pleased
good
about that.
performance, I thought.
Oh, thank you. No, well, thank you to the artist. I just pedalled. Now, the version that, of course, that sort of strikes a chord and is so moving is Bing Crosby's version, isn't it? That's the one.
It's the best I've heard.
Yeah, I think so. He sings it superbly.
Picks up on all the subtleties.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Saying that, why don't you remember, in one verse,
Yeah.
in one chorus at least, and indicating that the guy he's trying to get dime from isn't taking any notice of him.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, I'll find. Here we go. It was a big hit, 1932. Yeah, it's so marvelous. This is the best. I think this is possibly one of the best recordings that Bing Crosby ever made. And you alerted it to me. I didn't know it at all before you brought it to my attention. I think it's so wonderful. So yeah, let's have a listen to Bing, 1932, and the big hit. Here's one of his big hits from that year. With George Olsen's orchestra. Oh, wait a minute, that's not right. That wasn't supposed to happen. Somehow it's not doing what it should. Have I got it right? Yes, sorry, I'm on the wrong track. Bear with me. We will line it up.
They used to tell me I was building a dream, and so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there, right on the job. They used to tell me I was building a dream, with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line, just waiting for bread? Once I built a railroad, I made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower up to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with the drum. Say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Why don't you remember, I'm your pal. Say, buddy, can you spare a dime? Once in khaki suits, gee, we look swell, full of that Yankee doodly-dum. 500,000 boots went slogging through hell, and I was the kid with a drum. Oh, say, don't you remember, they called me Al. It was Al all the time. Say, don't you remember, I'm your pal. Buddy, can you spare a dime?
Wow, that's being at a different level.
Powerful stuff.
It really is powerful. It just absolutely pulls at the heartstrings. Oh, marvellous. Yeah.
Fiesta Piccadilly, I hadn't noticed.
Yes, it does. There's that sort of ray of optimism at the end.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. There's some wonderful songs in that era which just have a real poignancy to them, and it sort of prompted me to think about a couple of others. There's a pre-code film which we sort of often watch as a sort of a family fave. It's called The Gold Diggers of 1933, and it's quite a titillating sort of film, and it's crazy on so many levels, and it's really out there. But it has an underlying... you really get a sense of the depression because the three girls in the film who are showgirls are starving, and they share one bed, they share one dress, and it's very. You really get a sense of the injustice and the turmoil and especially for entertainers in this instance. But there's one very beautiful song from that film, which was originally sung by. Who was it? It'll come back to me in a moment. Ginger Rogers. Sorry, Ginger Rogers. Yeah, she originally sang it, but they took it out of the film, and it sort of exists in the film as background music, and it's sung briefly by Dick Powell. But she actually, when they made the film, she sang it, and apparently it was really, really marvelous, and then they expunged it. But a number of people went on to record the song. It really should be sung by a female, but including Bing Crosby. So we'll have a listen to the Torch song from the Gold Diggers of 1933, sung by Bing, not long after the record we just heard.
A clown can laugh when he's unhappy. Sometimes I wish I were a clown. I'd like to sing away my sorrow, every sorrow, every frown. A lively jingle never cheers me. I sing of love when no one hears me. I've got to sing a torch song, for that's the way I feel. When I feel a thing, then I can sing. It must be real. I couldn't sing a gay song, it wouldn't be sincere. I could never croon a happy tune without a tear. I have my dreams, but one by one they vanish in the sky. I try to smile and face the sun, but romance passes by. I've got to sing a torch song to someone far apart, for the torch I bear is burning there, right in my heart. I have my dreams, but one by one they vanish in the sky. I try to smile and face the sun, but romance passes by. I've got to sing a torch song to someone far apart, for the torch I bear is burning there, right in my heart.
Yeah, he sang that with great.
That's a lovely song.
Yeah, amazing determination too. I mean, it's poignant. I mean, a lot of people were in a high state of, deprivation at that time.
Yeah, you can hear it there, can't you? Even though it's in a major key, it's still...
Yeah, it's true. It's one of those instances where a song in a major key has sort of a more melancholy deliverance.
Absolutely.
It's quite a fascinating thing. I just realised that the original version of that song was cut from the film, although it does appear in the background. But after the film was released, they released the original version with Ginger Rogers on a record. And I have heard this, and I just found it. It's quite interesting.
Oh, yeah, could you play it?
Yeah, it's quite special. I mean, Ginger wasn't really a singer; she was a dancer.
Whether you could still get her
Yeah.
some sort of... you don't often hear her sing, do you?
No, you don't usually, and I think the context of the film where she's sort of starving and these three girls are having a really difficult time, but they'll get up to a lot of hijinks as well. It's sort of, there are flippant aspects to it as well. But she does sing this with I think she sings this really well, and she's only 19 years of age when this was made. She's quite young, So this is before she did her...
Same yet lay ahead of her.
Yeah, exactly. This is before she teamed up
Freddie.
with Fred Astaire. Yeah. So here we go. Another take of the same song from the film Gold Diggers of 1933.
A clown can laugh when he's unhappy. Sometimes I wish I were a clown. I'd like to sing away my sorrow, every frown. A mighty jingle never cheers me. I sing of love, but no one hears me. I've got to sing a torch song, 'cause that's the way I feel. When I feel a thing, then I can sing. It must be real. I couldn't sing a gay song. It wouldn't be sincere. I could never croon a happy tune without a tear. I have my dreams, but one by one they vanish in the sky. I try to smile and face the sun, but romance passes by. I've got to sing a torch song to someone far apart, for the torch I bear is burning there, right in my heart. I've got to sing a torch song, 'cause that's the way I feel. When I feel a thing, then I can sing. It must be real. I couldn't sing a gay song. It wouldn't be sincere. I could never croon a happy tune without a tear. I have my dreams, but one by one they vanish in the sky. I try to smile and face the sun, but romance passes by. I've got to sing a torch song to someone far apart, for the torch I bear is burning
have a teenage Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933. It was sort of a groundbreaking film. It's pre-code. Her avatar in the film was Anytime Annie, was her name.
There were a few, more than one Gold Diggers.
There's a Gold Diggers of 35, 37, and Gold Diggers of Paris, and there was the original Gold Digger film which came out in 1929. Which has been lost, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think bits of it survive. It was a very early two-part Technicolor, and those films just didn't tend to survive because they're very hard to reproduce, and a certain number of copies went into circulation, and with nitrate deterioration and the attitude of the times, a huge number of musicals from the late 20s and the beginning of the sound era are lost.
What a shame.
Yeah, I think bits of it survive. I've seen sections of it, but just fragments. I might be wrong, but that was what I understand.
Sure.
Now, but the Gold Diggers of 33 was particularly interesting because it had almost a protest movement feel about it. Now, Jack Warner was notoriously conservative, and I think he backed Hoover and all of that.
Yeah.
But he allowed the last song in the film to be it's a song called The Forgotten Man, and it's based on the bonus march of 1932. I can read something about this. It's very interesting, and it's a very, very powerful track because it's dealing with returned soldiers from the First World War.
Oh my God!
And the fact that they weren't given bonuses during the Depression, and a lot of them were starving, and it was just it was an appalling situation.
Somebody wrote a song about it.
Yeah, they wrote a song, and it originally was going to be in the early part of the film and reduced, but in a moment of openness, the Warner Brothers allowed it to be the end part of the film, which made the film incredibly powerful.
To finish on that. And in a way, that's making it more powerful.
Yeah, and what's more remarkable about it starts off with Joan Blondell she tells the story of it behind the music. She sort of sings it, and then the film casts up into an upper window, and then there's Etta Motown, who's a black singer, sings the song.
Oh my God!
So it's one of the very, very first films ever to have multiracial films. And Etta Motown was, of course, the original Bess from Porgy and Bess, and she sings from an upper window, and she sings with incredible passion. It's just, in fact, I'll play it in a minute. It's amazing.
Yes,
it's really amazing.
Oh God, yes.
It's a powerful film. Then it goes to an enormous Busby Berkeley sequence of lots of marching, and with all these soldiers who are just absolutely. It does pastiches between the angst of the First World War, where they're coming back injured and stretchers and bloodied and broken, and then the marches of that bonus march of 1932.
Doesn't sound like Hollywood, does it?
No, it's not at all. It's like a protest film. It's incredible. It's really incredible. It's our family fave. I've shown it many film nights. Next time we show it, we'll invite you, and listeners, if you're interested, let me know. You can come too. But it's a very, look it up. It's just a remarkable film. It's the Gold Diggers of 1933. None of the others. The Code Act came in shortly after, and then everything became sanitized and boring. But this is really the pinnacle of the pre-Code Hollywood musical. But anyhow, I'll give you the context. Here it is. Someone's written up about this here. It says, this musical number, The Forgotten Man, was based on a now forgotten event in American history, the bonus march of 1932. In the depths of the Depression, 43,000 people, and including 17,000 World War I veterans and their families, descended on Washington, asking that bonus certificates issued to them in 1924 as rewards for their military service, but which were not redeemable until, wait for it, 1945.
Oh my God, so many would be dead by then.
Exactly, they wanted them paid out immediately due to the dire circumstances in which they found themselves. The average redemption value of a certificate was $600, which was serious money for a poor person in 1932.
Yes.
When they could not get a hearing from anyone in power, they set up a shanty town on the Washington Mall and made it clear that they were staying until the Hoover administration gave them satisfaction. Hoover responded by sending in the army, complete with tanks, to get rid of them.
All right.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, it's sort of rather reminiscent of recent times.
I was going to say,
yeah, it's.
You hear these things and you think, gee, that would never happen, or that hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Nothing new under the old cliche.
I know, totally. And it gets worse. The shantytown was burned, their belongings destroyed, several veterans were killed, and thousands of people were driven out of Washington and into Maryland at gun and bayonet point. The Army Chief of Staff who oversaw and directed this outrage was none other than General Douglas MacArthur.
And these are your returned soldiers.
Yeah, so Douglas MacArthur, of MacArthur fame of all the purges later on, as a younger man, bloody well directed this.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. Anyhow, in 1936, the bonus 4 years later, in 1936, the bonus certificates were redeemed 9 years earlier. So the name of the song is "Remember My Forgotten Man," and it really profiles this event. It sort of does it in a bleak way because it sort of it pastiches the First World War and the protests, and it doesn't sort of glorify the protests per se, but the issue is very much brought to the fore, and it's incredibly powerful. It's an amazing moment. So we'll hear this. This was really as close Hollywood ever got to being sort of real protest stuff.
Yeah.
So here we go. Joan Blondell and Etta Motan from Bess, from Porgy and Bess fame. Incidentally, I should mention Etta Motan only died not that long ago. I think she lived to 104. She had amazing innings. Anyhow, so we'll hear Joan Blondell and Etta Motan and "Remember My Forgotten Man" from the film Gold Diggers of 1933.
I don't know if he deserves a bit of sympathy. Forget your sympathy. That's all right with me. I was satisfied to drift along from day to day till they came and took my man away. Remember my forgotten man? You put a rifle in his hand. You sent him far away. You shouted, "Hip hooray!" But look at him today. Remember my forgotten man. You had him cultivate the land. He walked behind a plow. The sweat fell from his brow. But look at him right now. And once he used to love me. I was happy then. He used to take care of me. Won't you bring him back again? 'Cause ever since the world began, a woman's got to have a man. Forgetting him, you see, means you're forgetting me. Like my forgotten man.
Remember my forgotten man. You put a rifle in his hand. You sent him far away. You shouted hip hooray. But look at him today. Remember my forgotten man. You had him cultivate the land. He walked behind the plow. The sweat fell from his brow. But look at him right now. And once he used to love me. I was happy then. He used to take care of me. Won't you bring him back again? 'Cause ever since the world began, a
Okay, there it goes. Now it goes into a big ballet scene with all of the soldiers parading, and yeah,
That is so powerful.
it's incredibly powerful. It's just
God.
it's absolutely remarkable. It's amazing. And while there's the film shows Etzamoten singing a lot, which is great, and then it sort of also the camera swings to a soldier sort of sitting on the streets in a disheveled state and homeless, and the police pick him up and they're going to arrest him, and she comes up as sort of like the female protector, and she picks him up and opens up his coat and you see his medals.
Oh, God.
And
that
then
would be...
Yeah, and the policeman's about to sort of arrest him, take him, and then he turns around and walks away, and she embraces him and takes him. So it's got this sort of theatrical component too, which is really highlights the point. So a remarkable film, and one I commend thoroughly, and on many levels. It's also incredibly out there in other ways, which may titillate the listener. But yeah, there we go with Joan Blondell and Etzamoten there.
Great stuff. Thank you for that.
No worries. It was an interesting one. But
I'm going to have to wind up.
yeah, look, no worries, Frank. All good. We'll catch up later. It'll be a late night program. I should be back by 11:30. I think the speeches are at 9:30, so it might go for an hour and then.
Look, I'll just monitor the channel. If you're late, don't worry.
Yeah, sure. And I won't look.
If it gets enjoy yourself and you want to stay.
Well, look, it might happen too. I might just quickly send you a line or something if I end up staying, and listeners will understand. But I'm really keen to just sample some of this Westminster. The Westminster records are really not that common, and I've read about this Herman Schoenen cantatas, and I know that he recorded quite a lot in the 50s, and this appears to be one of them. So I'm keen to have a listen. So yeah, that could be fun. All right, well, we look forward to that, and should be around tomorrow. There's a Ballarat Fest on Sunday, but I just don't think I can make it this year.
No.
It's too far, and it's going to be 37 degrees, and there's a lot happening, and I need to be just sort of grounded. Yeah, so anyhow, that's the story. So it should be missions tomorrow and also Sunday. So just looking forward. All right then, Frank. All the best to you.
And to you and to the listener from VK3JR.
And from VK3SL. Thank you, folks. Thank you for listening in. Thank you for being a part of it. And to write out today, I've got a 16-inch transcription record, Kinder Sound, orthoacoustic disc, 16-inch record of An American in Paris. It's from the film, MGM's film, and we've got Oscar Levant playing Gershwin's Concerto in F, and also the American